Honorable members.
Chair, I rise on Rule 68. The last time I checked, we were debating the
Order.
Division of Revenue Bill. The Speaker, with respect, is irrelevant to the topic of today. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Steenhuisen, Minister Steenhuisen, will you get back to the topic under discussion, please?
House Chair,
Order.
I'm setting out the reason why we will be voting, how we will be voting in the House today on this bill.
Order, honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members, let's listen. Honorable members over there, can you please quiet down now? Order. Honorable members, order. May I request the Chief Whip of the Economic Freedom Fighters just to ask the members to calm down. You don't even know the reason yet. So let's listen to the debate, honorable members. Chief Whip of the EFF, can you calm down your members, please? Thank you. Thank you. Please proceed, Honorable Steenhuisen.
But the facts in this matter contradict this flimsy reasoning. In fact, on the 12th of February, Deputy Minister Whitfield had written to the President requesting permission to travel. 10 days later, he had not received a reply or any response whatsoever about the trip. Whitfield subsequently wrote...
Order, honorable members. May I ask the Chief Whip of the ANC to do the same, please? Otherwise, we are not going to get through the speech. Let's be fair, honorable members, let's be fair. Even if you disagree with what the honorable member is saying, the honorable member, in terms of the rights and the Constitution, have the right to say what he wants to say. Order. Please proceed.
Whitfield subsequently wrote to the President to apologize if he had caused offense. Again, he received no response. Then yesterday, months after the incident, and without a further word on it, the President unilaterally removed a DA Deputy Minister without even giving his largest coalition partner an opportunity to discuss it with the member or his party.
Order, honorable members.
Now, according to the President's spokesperson, this move is not part of a broader reshuffle. And there can therefore be no other conclusion to be drawn that this is a calculated assault on the second largest party in the governing coalition. But
Order, honorable members.
What makes matters worse is that this unilateral action is a result and a product of a flagrant double standard. While a DA Deputy Minister is removed for not getting a response to seeking permission to travel, there are members in the Cabinet who are implicated in the VBS scandal and looting. There are members in the Cabinet.
Order, honorable members.
Who, despite apparently misleading Parliament over an attempt to deploy corrupt cadres to CETA boards, remains in the Cabinet. Serial underperformers and people implicated in state capture continue to sit around the Cabinet table. Now, instead of being summarily fired, like DM Whitfield was, these ministers get an opportunity to submit a report to the President on their behavior. In the past, even ministers who had serious public protective findings against them were merely admonished or had their pay docked. Yet a DA Deputy Minister is dismissed with the flimsiest of excuses. Are the people of South Africa expected to accept that fraudsters, corruption accused and Zondo accused are protected while Deputy Minister Andrew Whitfield is removed. But perhaps there's something even deeper at play here. Like all DA ministers and deputy ministers, contrary to what the Honourable Tambo said, Andrew Whitfield was succeeding in his job. He had opposed the attempt to make suspect appointments to the IDC board. He was raising uncomfortable questions about the Transformation Fund and the opportunities it provides for looting. And yes, he was asking the uncomfortable questions about the Lotto Tender Award. Now, given this flagrant double standard, one is left with no choice but to conclude that hard-working DA members of the executive are fired for fighting corruption, not for committing corruption. For being good at their jobs rather than incompetent. Now, if this situation is not corrected, it will go down as the greatest political mistake in modern South African history. And so, seeing the president is now cleaning house, I would like to suggest that he sweeps in front of his own doorstep before he sweeps in front of the DA's doorstep. And so, we're calling on the president to fire those ministers and deputy ministers involved in the Zondo Commission report, involved in serious charges of corruption, and those who have been involved in recent weeks of misleading this parliament. Because if the president is willing to remove a DA deputy minister for doing his job, but isn't prepared to move other ministers and deputy ministers for not doing theirs, that is hypocrisy of the highest form, and it cannot be brooked. Now, the ball is now then in the president's court, and he must show us now that he's a man of his word. Madam Speaker, it would be very easy for a party that had been treated with such disdain from a coalition partner to vote against this bill today. But precisely because we are nothing like the ANC, the DA will always put South Africa's interests over narrow party interests. We will vote for this bill today, not for politics, but for South Africa. And
order, honourable members. Order, honourable members.
And in doing so, we will demonstrate to all of our coalition partners that when we give our word, you can rely on it, and that when we say we're going to do something, we will do it. However, this is now a moment of truth. Within the next 48 hours, we will find out if the DA stands alone as the only party that can be trusted to govern responsibly and take South Africa forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honourable member. I now recognize the honourable Doug.
Right, of course, that was the DA leader, John Steenhuisen, reacting and responding, of course, to the axing of Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Andrew Whitfield. Of course, we missed a few moments of what he had to say earlier on, but indications are he was explaining, of course, following Andrew Whitfield's removal, about an unauthorized trip that he took to Washington, saying that he had written to President Cyril Ramaphosa following that trip and had apologized. Steenhuisen saying that the presidency decision was made without giving the GNU partners an opportunity to consult. He says the President Cyril Ramaphosa made a unilateral decision. Again, ending with that remark saying that within 48 hours, the DA will then decide if it wants to go it alone or get other partners, of course, the DA has convened an urgent meeting of the party's federal executive today following the axing of Deputy Minister Trade and Industry Andrew Whitfield. Of course, a number of developments with this, but let's see if we can link you back and listen more to what is being said.
Facing social spending growing only at 4.9%. Our debt to GDP ratio is 77.4%, higher than most African countries, and we are borrowing just to pay interest. This indeed is economic insanity. We are a sovereign nation that owns platinum and PMGs, the most in the world. We own iron ore, oil, gas, coal, and mineral-rich land, but we behave like beggars. Our people live in poverty. Why? Because this GNU, this ANC, and this Division of Revenue budget wants to keep the status quo for the people who are beneficiaries of apartheid. They are beneficiaries of colonialism, and they are still in power today through the ANC, through the DA, in this GNU. Honorable Mayimani wants to talk about investment, but how can you talk investment without land justice? We first got to deal with land justice. We first got to take the land back. We first got to take the resources back. We got to beneficiate it, and then we can talk about investment, Mr. Chair. The DA came up here and was talking nonsense to our people. When we look at the city of Cape Town, I'm a Cape Townian. This is the worst run province. This is the worst run city. If you are a colored person, if you're a black person, this is the worst run place. You talk about clean audits. What about poverty? What about housing? Where's the jobs for our people? Where's the electricity for our people? You let niks vir ons mense gemaak nie. You evict our people every day on the Cape Flats. You throw our people out of houses to make way for developers, for white developers who come in here and take our people's land, take our people's houses, and our people get stuck on the ground, on the land. We want to say, the ANC, you've moved away from the Freedom Charter. Why are you talking about the Freedom Charter? You in business and you in government with our oppressors. You are in government with the very people who took our land, who took our minerals, who took our resources and leave our people in poverty every day. You are no longer fighting for the liberation. You are fighting for the oppression of our people. We look at the municipalities are collapsing in this country. 163 of 257 municipalities are financially distressed. And let me say, most of them are run by the ANC, the DA, and its coalition partners. Yet municipal allocations grow only by 3.4%, below the projected inflation of 5.5%. 78 billion is owed to Eskom, yet no structural intervention exists in this budget, Mr. Chair. Instead of empowering local development, this bill empowers DBSA consultants and urban pilot projects with no local oversight. Mr. Chair, there's so many ghost workers. They cost us between 5 and 25 billion annually. They can go for housing. They can go for our clinics. They can save our people. But no, we are using it on consultants and we're giving it on ghost workers. So corruption is something that's endemic in the GNU. It's something that's been going on for 30 years. Julle kan nie hier kom en julle self wit smee nie. Julle is swart met julle gemors, met julle wat julle ons mense se lewens weggevat het. Julle ons mense se land weggevat. Julle ons mense vermoor. Maar nou wil jy hier kom en julle wil vir ons sê julle is mooi en julle is soets. Nee, julle het vir ons mense neergedruk en nou staan die mense op saam met MKP. Nou staan die mense op. Ons as kleurige mense staan op. Ons as swart mense staan op. Ons as Khoisan mense staan op. Ons as Zulus en Xhosas, ons staan saam met MKP en ons sê genoeg is genoeg. Nie meer nie. Nie meer nie. Honorable Chair, I want to say in closing, this is our land. These are our minerals. This is our people. Africa exports 100 billion rand annually in raw minerals. South Africa alone holds over 2.5 trillion rand in rare earth minerals and gas. Yet we borrow from the IMF. This is insanity. We need to nationalize our strategic minerals. We need state-led beneficiation and a new land and mineral revenue model rooted in justice, not debt. Ambase, we are going to take things over. We are going to change things, and we're going to take
Honourable
our
Member,
people
your time
out
is
of
now
poverty.
expired. Thank you.
Ambase!
Thank you. Order, honourable members. I now recognize the Honourable Galeka and Mazibuko.
Honorable Chair, it is disappointing, to say the least, that despite the total consolidated spending in the 2025 Division of Revenue Bill, growing at an annual average rate of 5.4%, and the lion's share of it going to social wage, there are some parties that suggest that this bill leads to austerity. Fellow South Africans, this bill is far from austerity, and any attempt to suggest otherwise is a widely inaccurate and strikingly unrealistic representation of reality. In fact, any party that is pessimistic about this bill is narrowly committed to ignorance. The GNU partners are entirely coherent, consistent, and free of contradiction about this bill. These partners are in support of this bill as it meets the socio-economic expectations of the electorate.